Okay, so I'm going to go to the Wjc 14th of November 2022. This is the intermediate non-calculator. So this is the unit 1. Again, this is going to be typically really quick on my videos. Okay, so shade the least number of squares so that the grid has a rotational symmetry of order 2. So that means to say that if you were to rotate the shape, just 1 second guys, just again, there we go. All the way around, how many times will it keep its shape? You could use tracing paper to do this, okay, but what the answer to this would be there. There you go. It's a bit untidy, but you get the idea. So that's the answer I'm looking for there, okay? Question 2. Two friends, Geraint and Doverick, are having a discussion. All prime numbers are odd numbers. Well, that is obviously incorrect because the first prime number, as you all know, is 2. So you just say 2 is right. And then he says all cube numbers are odd numbers. Now a cube number is this: 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1, odd. But if you go to 2, the answer would be 8. 3 would be 27, and 4, again, this is only an example, would be 64. So cube numbers, that is a false statement, okay? So that one or that one is a valid example. Moving on, using only the numbers in the following list, find the multiple of 5.5. So basically, 5.5 plus 5.5 is equal to 10 there, carry 1, so that's 11. So if you were to do multiples of 11, that answer would be 33, because obviously if 11 can go into 33, then so can 5.5, because 5.5 could go exactly into 11, okay? So the multiple of 5.5 is 33. And then the factor of 111. Now, I could tell you that the answer is going to be 37. So a quick way, well, there's no quick way really. What you have to do is you're just going to have to just use a bit of common sense here, actually. 43, for example. So 43 is 86, and another one is 129. That's too high, so that's not going to work. So you just keep on playing around with the numbers till you get what you need, okay? So a factor, it goes exactly into 111. So 37, and 37, it will add up to 111. Okay, a cuboid is to be drawn on the isometric grid below. Find the possible length, width, and height for the cuboid such that it has a volume of 12. Right, a volume is this. You can either do 1 times 1 times 12 equals 12. You could do 2 times 2 times 3 equals 12. You could do 1 times, again, I'm just making this up, times 6 times 2 equals 12. You could choose any dimension you want, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose the middle one. 2, 2, and 3. And how you draw this is entirely up to you, okay? Just 1 second. Just notice the charge is getting a bit low on this. 1 minute. There we go. Okay, so 2 by 2 by 3. So what I'm going to do now is this. I'm just going to go 2 there, 2 there, 3 there. So there's your 2, there's your 2, there's your 3. Perfect. Okay? It's entirely up to you how you draw that. But make sure the dimensions all come to 12, yeah? Okay, so number 5. So question 5, Andrew and Grace each have 10 and £5 notes. Andrew has 6 notes. How can he get £55 with 6 notes? So Andrew must have, he must have 5 £10 notes, and he must have one £5 notes. That's 55. And Grace, so she's got 5 notes altogether. So she must have 2 £10 notes and 3 £5 notes. That would add up to 35. So how many do they have in total? Well, they've got 7 £10 notes and 4 of them. Solve the equation. 7p is equal to 60 plus 3. 7p is equal to 63. P is equal to 63 divided by 7, so P must be equal to 9. Simplify. This is not an equation. Just collect the like terms. 6a minus 2a is 4a. And then minus 7b minus 8b. So you're on minus 7 and you're going down another 8 in that direction. Okay, it's getting colder. So the answer is going to be minus 15b. In a restaurant, as part of a set meal, you can choose a starter, main course, and a dessert. List all the possible combinations. You know, it's one of these questions where it's pretty self-explanatory. You can have a melon, chicken, or fruit, or you can have a melon, ham, or fruit, or you can have a melon, pizza, and fruit. I think you get the idea, don't you guys? Okay? And then, so we've done all of the melon. Now do the same as yeah, we've got to do the same thing again, only this time with the yogurts. So it's going to be melon, chicken, yogurt, melon, ham, yogurt, melon, pizza, and yogurts. So there's 6 M's altogether, and there will be a total of 6 S's, okay, altogether. It's the same thing, isn't it? So it's going to be S, H, F, S, C, F, S, P, F, and finally S, H, Y, S, C, Y, S, P, Y. Very untidy, I'm sorry guys, but you get the general idea anyway. Right then, there are 5 numbers in a list. The mean of the numbers is 7. So 5 times 7 equals 35. That means to say they added up to 35 because 35 divided by 5 is 7, the mean. Another number is added to the list, so the mean of the 6 becomes 8.5. 6 times 8.5. Well, 8 times 6 is 48. And half of 6 is 3. That's going to become 51. So 51 minus 35, and the answer to that is going to be 16. The reason why I did that calculation there, by the way, is because I know that the mean of the 6 numbers was 8.5. So 6 times 8.5 is 51. 51 divided by 6 is 8.5. Yeah, so here you've got to share the sum of money in the ratio of 8:1. The larger share is £16.80. So £16.80 divided by 8. Well, 8 into 16 goes twice, and 8 into 80. So if I put that 2 there, decimal point, 8 goes into 8 once, so the answer is £2.10. So it's £2.10. The answer is £2.10, okay? So what we're now going to do is this. 1 share is equal to £2.10. So what they want is, we know the larger share is £16.80. So what is the total amount of money shared? So we know that the 1 share is £2.10. If you now add that to £16.80, the answer is going to be £18.90. Okay? Right then, estimate. Just round these numbers up. So 20.4 will become 20. 59.1 will become 60. 407 becomes 400. So if I cancel them off, because there's two zeros at the bottom, so I can cancel the 2 off the top. 2 times 6 is 12, divided by 4, and the answer is 3. You could have used 59 as well, but it's just easier to work in whole numbers, okay? The nth term of a sequence is given by 3n minus 13. So all you need to do is you substitute 10 into there. So 3 times 10 minus 13. So that's 30, take away 13. So the answer is 17. Next one, 3 times 4. The full term minus 13. So 12 take away 13. The answer is -1. So all you're doing is you're substituting that number, the 10th term, into there, and the 4th term into there. Question 12, relative frequency. The relative frequency of throwing a 5 is 23 out of 300. What's the relative frequency of throwing a 2? So there's the number 2. It was thrown 40 times. So it's 40 out of 300. There's 1 0, just only one you can cancel off, okay, top and bottom. So you've got 4 over 30, which cancels down to 2 over 15, because they want it in its simplest form. 2 can go into 4 twice and into 30 15 times. Do the results in the table suggest that Samira's dice is biased? Well, for this question, I would say yes, and I'll tell you why. Look at this. 1 appears 65 times. 6 appears 110 times. 4 only appeared 10 times. 5 only 23 times. There appears to be no consistency here, okay? So it's up to you how you say this. You can say 6 was thrown way too many times, or 4 was only thrown 10 times. Okay? Or you could just say there just appears to be no consistency between the numbers, but you've got to try and relate it to a specific number on the dice. So there, I would say 6 was thrown 110 times, which is way bigger. Which is way bigger than the others. Dice is thrown 2,400. Use similar results to calculate the number of times you expect a 6. So a 6 was 110. So 110 divided by 300 times. So basically you're working out of the 2,400 times, we know the probability of getting a 6 is 110 out of 300 attempts. So 2 zeros there, 2 zeros there. Cancel out the 3 into the 24 8 times. So 8 times 110 is 880. So we expected that to happen 880 times. 13. The total area of this shape plus this shape equals 184. What's the perimeter of the square? Well, 9 times 15, the area of the rectangle, is 90 plus 45 is 135 centimeter squared. So if we do 184 minus 135, so that's going to be 9, 7 take away 3 is 4, 1 take away 1 is nothing, so it's 49. We know that this here is equal to 49 centimeter squared. Well, if you square root that now, because it's a square, so the square root of 49 is 7. So each one must be 7, 7, 7, 7. So the answer is going to be 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 28 centimeters. So question 14, the Venn diagram. So in a group of 200 people, 105 people do not have black hair and do not wear glasses. Well, that means to say they don't do anything in the Venn diagram then, so they just all go outside there. So what does that leave us with? Well, 200 take away. That leaves you with 95 remaining, okay? 20 people have black hair and wear glasses. So we know there's 20 going to be there in the middle. 70 people have black hair. So we know that the black hair circle must be equal to 70. You've already got 20, so that must be 50. And we know that the Venn diagram itself, the circles, must equal 95. You've already got 50, you've already got 20, so that's got to be 25. One of these people is chosen at random. What's the probability that this person wears glasses? So the person who wears glasses, so for the person to wear glasses, there's 45 altogether in that circle out of 200. And your answer's fine like that, okay? They don't want it written in the simplest form, so there's no need for you to do that. Just leave the answer like that. Right, 15. Unfortunately, I'm not using my other software to show you this, but I will do on future videos, okay? You're going to draw an accurate drawing of that. It's pretty easy to do. You just put your protractor on there, measure 80 degrees. Put your protractor on here, measure 48 degrees. And then the two lines will cross each other, okay? And that's all you've got to do. So that's 80 degrees, and that is, sorry, it's 45 degrees, not 48. And there, okay? Leave your construction lines there too, please. Yeah, I'm just checking that one, okay? That's fine. Right then, prime factors, okay? So I'm going to put the prime numbers in. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. 1575. Now, it doesn't matter what number you start with, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to divide by 5. So 5 into 1575. 5 into 15, 3. 5 into 7, 1's carry 2. 5 into 25 is 5. So I know that 5 goes in 315 times. Because it ends in 5, I'm going to use a 5 again. So 5 into 315. 3 into 31 goes 6, carry 1. 5 into 15 is 3. So that's 63 times. Then the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to divide by 3. I can't divide by 5 anymore. Don't forget, you can only divide by prime numbers. 3 into 63 goes 21 times. 3 goes into 21 7 times. And the only prime number that goes into 7 is 7. And I stop there. That's the way I do it, okay? And I just put a line under the 1 to say, that's it. I'm only interested in the circled numbers. So I've got 2 3s, 2 5s, and a 7. And there's the answer. Number 17, simplify the following expressions. 2 times 3 is 6. P cubed times p to the 4. If you times indices, you add the powers. So p cubed times p4 is p to the power of 7. And then q times q7 is q to the power of 8. And that's the answer for that one there, okay? Right, next one. Expand the brackets first. 7a times a is 7a squared. 7a times 5 is 35a. Minus 2 times 3 is minus 6a squared. Minus 2 times 6a is minus 12a. Minus 2 times minus 7 is 14. Now, to simplify the whole thing, 7a squared, take away 6a squared is a squared. 35a, take away 12a is 23a. and then 14, it's on his own there. And there's your answer there, okay, for 4 marks. So that's quite a nice question, actually. Now then, on the diagram, you've got this line here. They want you to work out the gradient. Right, to work out the gradient of any straight line, just pick a coordinate, a nice coordinate. Draw a right angle triangle underneath. And then look at the heights. How high is that? So it's -2 to 2. So the gap there is 4. The width, that's a 0 to 1, so that's 1. So to do that, it's the height divided by the width, which is 4. The gradient of that line is 4. Write down the equation of the line in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. Right, that in there is where the gradient goes, which you've got, which is 4. And that there is the y-intercept. So if I look at my graph now, the gradient we've got, the y-intercept is where does it cross the y-axis? And it crosses the y-axis at the number -2. So the equation of this line is y is equal to 4x minus 2. They're asking you then on B to show that the lines are parallel. Now what I would do to answer this question is get them in the form of y is equal to mx plus c to contain, what's the word I'm looking for, to compare the gradients. So this one here is already in the form of that, y is equal to 3x minus 8. Now see this one here, I'm going to rearrange this to y equals 23 plus 6x. I'm taking the -6x across, okay? So let me just make this a bit neater. So we got it in the same form, letter followed by number. Right, get rid of the 2 now. So y is equal to 6 divided by 2x plus 23 over 2. And if you divide 6 by 2, the answer is 3x. And then just keep that as 23 over 2. So how do you know then that they are parallel? Well, all parallel lines have the same gradients because the slope is going in the same direction. And the number in front of the x must be the same. That's a 3 and that's a 3. And that is how you prove that they are parallel to each other. So the gradient in both is 3. Question 19. Okay, so I'm going to try and make this as simple as I possibly can for you. This is one of these WJC questions where they're traditional in the sense that they like to ask them all the time. You don't see them as often on other boards. But all you need to remember is this. Length is 1. Area is 2. Volume is 3. And none is mixed. You'll see what I mean now, okay, when I do this. Look at the first one which has been done. A cubed, that's 3 letters. Minus 3 letters. So that's got 3 letters. That's got 3 letters. So 3 is volume. So that is obviously correct. Look at the next one now. 2. And this is 3 letters divided by 1 letter, which means I can take one of those letters away. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to have 2 left. So they all balance out. I've got a 2, a 2, and a 2. So that's area. Area. This is 3. This is 2. That is 2. 3, 2, 2. That's mixed. You've got to have the same number going across through the whole formula, okay? These are different, therefore none of these. Because they're mixed, okay? That's 3. That's 3. It's a squared plus another which is 3, squared plus another, which is 3. So that's going to be volume. Then the next one, that's got 1, 1, and 1, and 1 is length. And finally, that squared, that's got 3, that's mixed, so none. And then we're nearly there. Calculate the value of the following. So 3 divided by 6, standard form. So let's do this first, that one divided by that one. Well, 3 divided by 6 is 0.5. When you divide powers, you subtract the powers. So it's 4 minus 3. So that's going to be 0.5 times 10 to the power of 7. Because 4 minus 3 is equal to 7. But in standard form, this number here has got to be bigger than 1. Okay? So that's 0.5. So I've got to multiply that by 10 to bring it back up again to a 5. And then because I've done that, I have to bring that power down by 1. So the answer is 5 times 10 to the power of 6. Now, these standard form questions, it's poorly received by a lot of students actually, because they always get it mixed up. You're adding these now, and you can't add them unless the base 10 is the same, or the power of 10 is the same, I should say, sorry. Now, it doesn't matter which way you can do it, but what I would do is, in this case, I would get that as 10 to the power of 2. So that would be 4, 7, 8 times 10 to the power of 2 plus 1.5 times 10 to the power of 2. Now the reason I'm doing this is because now I can add that to that. And if I added those two together, what 478 is effectively 478.0 plus 1.5. So my answer is going to be 479.5. Before I go any further though, let me just clear something up. Why have I gone from there to there? Well, I had to do that because effectively what I've gone and done now is I've gone the other direction. It's a bit like making a small number big, okay? Obviously, the powers would become a negative. So effectively, I'm taking 2 steps away from the 4. Hence the reason why I've got 10 squared to change that to 478. I can now add them together because they've got the same power, 10 squared, 10 squared. So you add them together, and now what I'm going to do you know, because I moved that twice that way, I'm now going to move it back to its original position. So 1, 2. So the final answer is 4.795 times 10 to the power of 4. Okay, and then just finally here, which complete method using Pythagoras' theorem can be used to find x? Well, to do Pythagoras' theorem, it's going to be the big one squared minus the small one squared and square root the answer. So there we go. The big one squared minus the small one squared and square root the answer, okay? So look at that one. Which of the following calculations can be for y? Right then. Opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. O and H belong to sin. And here's the sin ratio. So if I'm looking for O, it's going to be the sine times the hypotenuse. So it's going to be sine 40 times hypotenuse. Okay? So sine 40 times the hypotenuse. So it's going to be sine 40, what am I? It's going to be that one there. Because if you were to bring the 25, which is divided into y, that's going to multiply the sine 40, which is what I need. Effectively, to work out what this is going to be, it would be sine 40 times 25. Okay? And then circle theorem. Okay, so with the circle theorem, two radii make an isosceles triangle, so that's 38. Find out what that one there is. So you must state all the angle properties. Okay, so POQ is isosceles triangle with two radii, because two radiuses make an isosceles, okay? So 38 plus 38 is 76, so 180 minus 76 is equal to 84, which means that that there has got to be 84 degrees. It's got to be 84 degrees. So what I need to do, what I need to do now is I need to work out what this angle here is going to be. So to do that angle there, the theorem is that the angle at the center is double the angle at the circumference, because they've been drawn from the same points there. So that there is going to be from the same point to that there, okay? So this angle here, 84, is double the angle at the circumference. So x is half of 84. So all I need to do now, sorry, I've just realized I've done something stupidly wrong here. That should not be 84, that should be 104 degrees. My apologies, sorry. It's 104 degrees. There we go. So that should be 52 degrees there, okay? So how are we going to say this then? Well, you can say POQ, so POQ is equal to twice the angle of QRP. So we know that POQ is 104, so 104 divided by 2 is 52 degrees. Okay, now if you want that's your final answer, by the way, but coming back to this one here, this theorem, you can say angle at the center is twice the angle subtended at the circumference. At the circumference, okay? So angle of the center is twice the angle subtended at the circumference. So in other words, the angle here is double the angle there. So the answer to that was 52. Now finally, the last question. Okay, now I can imagine a lot of the students having a bit of a headache with this, because even though it's only worth 4 marks, there are a number of ways you can actually do this, but what I'm trying to do is to keep it as simplistic as possible, okay? So the way I would have done is, I would have split this up. It's just one of the methods I like to use with a lot of the students. So Tom picked up n apples from a tree one morning, and Kerry picked up 5 times as many. So she picked up 5n. If Tom picked up n, she picked up 5 lots of n. In the afternoon, Tom picked 19 more, so plus 19. And then she gave Tom another 7. Says there, look. Okay, 19 and 7. But if she gave him 7, she lost 7 apples. So it says here, she still had more apples than Tom. Write down an inequality in terms of n to show the above information. So what we need to do now is just tidy all this up. So we know that 5n minus 7 Kerry still had more is greater than n plus 26, which was for Tom. Now solve this. Bring the n across. Bring the minus 7 across. So 5n minus n is greater than 26 at 7. 4n is greater than 33. And n is going to be greater than 8.75. Because it says here, use your inequality to find the least possible number of apples Tom picked on Monday morning. So it's got to be greater than 8.75. So the first whole number after that has got to be 9. So it's 9 apples. Okay, boys and girls, so that's that lot for that paper. I hope all that makes sense, but get in touch if you want me to do anything or explain anything to you, okay? I've also got access to the higher tier papers or the foundations, so if you want me to do any paper in particular, in English or Welsh, but the only reason I'm doing these in English though is because I know most of the students doing the paper probably will prefer to do them in English anyway, but I'm more than happy to do the Welsh versions as well. Okay, thank you.